and welcome back to the next episode of the ongoing saga that is the underfloor heating installation. We've got a couple of things to update you on, and then we're going to attempt to take the next step. First, we have some good news, which is the part that we were missing at the end of the last episode actually arrived on time the following day, and the installation was a breeze. It took literally seconds to swap these parts out, rather than the hours that I spent stubbornly, I'm told, fiddling around trying to get two parts to fit together that was not going anywhere. But then we realised there was something else getting in our way. Hi.
Hi. So, we weren't going to film this whole how we're filling, how we're testing and how we're pressurising, because it's a fairly well documented process. There's gazillion YouTube videos, they're all pretty much the same. And we were just going to get on and do it, and then you would have next seen us doing some screeding. But we ran into a problem that is not discussed anywhere on the internet. There is no manual for it, and I had to actually go and speak with Uponor UK and a few other people to work out how to do this filling. Before we get to that though, we're going to remove all the PTFE tape, or Teflon tape I think is what it's called in the States. Many people left us comments to say we didn't need to. I had a lovely conversation with a very friendly Swedish plumber who explained the whats and the whys, and I went and checked with Uponor, and they said the parts are designed not to need PTFE, but you could use it if you need it. So we're going to take it all off and test with it all off. If something doesn't seal, then we can come back and put some on. The explanation that I had from Anders, I think his name was, excuse me if I got your name wrong, that when this compression fitting presses up, this O-ring is what creates the seal. I was always taught to use PTFE tape on brass compression fittings because the brass is quite fragile, and if you do it incorrectly, you can damage the threads. But apparently these ones are designed like this so that when you compress this fitting, it compresses this O-ring and that does the seal, and hence the tape is not required.
What's funny is when I first mounted the manifold and connected them, I didn't use PTFE tape.
Yeah, but that was just luck.
That was just luck. I had no idea what I was doing. I even had a shot of me doing it, which I edited out of the video because I didn't want to look like an idiot. Okay, all the PTFE tape has been removed. Now we can move on to the next step, which involves some instructions.
One of the reasons we weren't going to film this is not a how-to video. We don't do how-to videos, we do what we did videos. But what we're about to do is different to all the other how-to videos on how to fill and test manifolds.
It's even different to the instructions.
Yeah, so I actually consulted an Uponor UK video that explains how to fill and test and pressurize your system, and the installation manual, and several other brands. And there's an industry standard process. So let me explain what normally happens. Normally, you would attach a hose here on the flow side, this is the incoming feed, and you would turn off all your flows and all your returns, and then you would open one to fill it, vent the air out, make sure that all the air is out, like you would with bleeding a radiator, for example. Once you're happy, you would shut that one down, you would move on to the next one, and repeat for however many circuits you have. Once all of that is done, then you would open it all back up again and then do your pressure testing. This manifold came with these instructions, and if you can zoom in on this, it also has the same thing. N times, you open just one, do the same at the bottom, fill it from the tap, and then you repeat around opening the next one, etc, etc. What's different with this system is a pre-configured system with all the actuators already on it and all wired up to the control center. This diagram and all the other instructions assume that the actuators aren't on yet and they have decorator caps, and you use the decorator caps to isolate each of the different circuits. But you can't do that with these actuators. They are electronically controlled And ideally, you shouldn't connect any of your electronics until way after you've done all your filling and your testing. So I contacted our supplier. I also had a lovely chat with Dave, who works in customer service in Uponor, UK, and I did that so I could communicate in English. I did also try to contact Uponor, Portugal, still waiting for a response. The supplier explained that this pre-configured board is a new product from Uponor, and there is no documentation on how you do the fill and test. And it is not the same as the industry standard isolate one loop at a time, etc., etc. These actuators come semi-open and you can't close them.
Until you apply electricity.
Exactly. The suggestion was, no, just leave them all, fill them all at once. The problem with that is that you can't be guaranteed that you've vented the air from all the circuits. Now, I don't like going against industry standard processes.
Or instructions.
And yeah, well documented across all the brands of manifolds how to do filling and testing. So I went back and I questioned and I questioned. Uponor UK don't sell this configuration, so weren't able to advise. What they could advise is that the decorator caps that you would normally get aren't available for purchase, so we didn't have that option of going and getting some caps and taking these off and putting them on and then doing that. I also spoke to my friendly Swedish plumber and asked him what he suggests, because he's done many underfloor heating manifold installs, and his suggestion was what the supplier eventually came back with and suggested to us, which is we can close each of the flows and we can open one of these at a time, but all of these will remain partially open. So there is a risk that when water enters into this section, that water, while you're doing a test or fill on one, could get into your second run. But it's the only thing that we can do, so we're going to give it a try.
I think the issue that we're facing here is quite unique to a DIYer who is doing this for the first time and doesn't plan to do it ever again. Most professional installers, A, know what they're doing, B, have probably done it before, and C, probably have some of these manual decorator caps that they've removed from a previous installation that they could use in this kind of situation. Because we are DIYers and we have never done this before, and we've never used this manifold or anything from Uponor before, we don't have those things and we don't have access to them. I went to our local plumbing store and took a bunch of photos and some other kind of similar parts to see if they had anything that we could buy or that would fit. Nada. So that is kind of the unique situation here. And that's the reason that we're making this video, to help other DIYers who may face this kind of system or can't find the documentation about how to fill, vent and pressure test an Uponor manifold, who may find themselves in a similar situation. If you're a professional, this video is probably not going to help you very much, but thanks for watching anyway.
And if you've been watching us for a while, you know that I really like to research everything. And the reason I really like to research everything is to make sure that we're doing things correctly as much as possible. Hence removing the PTFE tape. I can't know everything all the time, but I really like to go off a manufacturer's installation instructions. So it's kind of counterintuitive to me that we have to go off piste and do something completely different. But the supplier did tell me that this particular model has no documentation for how to do this without the manual caps. So we don't have a choice. It should work in theory. I'm just very risk adverse to doing anything that's not as it should be done. But yeah, let's try it and see if it works.
We have had one last look at the instructions and watched a couple of YouTube videos. Let me talk you through the plan of what we think is going to happen, and then we'll see if we're right. This is the inlet. We've got a hose connector here. We're going to plug a hose into this. We are going to plug another hose into this, and that hose is for the return, and it's going to go into my handy bucket here. Once those are connected, I believe we can turn the hose pressure on and nothing will happen. Then, for each of the flow and the return, we have these little black caps here which screw onto a port down here, And as much as it looks like we will be closing this port, apparently we'll actually be opening it. And that will start the flow of water through the flow and then into the return. So both of these caps have to go on. Then, for each of the flows in turn, starting on the right and working our way to the left, we've closed all of these as much as we can. There's like a little click. I don't know if you hear that. I think that means it's closed. So we will open each one of these in turn. All of our actuators up here are partially open. You can see the little white bit at the top. That means it's semi-open. We will open each of these in turn, capture all of the water and air in this bucket, and then have a small celebration. If it all works. Otherwise we'll have a big commiseration and probably get quite wet. That's your in hose.
This is my flow.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my return. Oops. With my hand holding it.
Yeah, do you want a clamp or something for it?
So, no, I'll hold it. You should be able to go and turn some water pressure on.
Yeah, I'll turn
so
it on
that
gently.
I can hear it.
Yep.
And we will make sure it doesn't splash water everywhere.
Okay.
Let's do that as the first test.
Test number 1.
And put down some protection in case things go horribly wrong.
Are you ready?
Yep. Okay. You can come in here now.
Excellent.
There is definitely water
Yes, there is.
because I saw this go taut.
Yeah.
So,
Do you see it stiffen up?
yes, I saw it stiffen up. From the video, was there an order of which to do these? Probably doesn't matter.
I think you probably want to do... That's a good question. As soon as you do that one, it's going to let the flow in at the bottom.
And then I can do that because it's quite a long run to fill the pipes.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, let's go for it.
But it shouldn't fill the pipes at the moment.
I mean, there's water.
Where?
I don't know. I've got a couple of drops on my fingers.
Okay. But no, so far no leaks, no noise, no air, which would suggest to me that
Everything's
the
closed.
circuits are all closed, which is
Shall we?
good. Ooh, look at that.
There's the air.
I mean, so far I'm quite impressed.
Hasn't exploded yet. So if I put it in there, there's still some bubbles coming out.
So we're going to keep going, and we will fill you in on all the exciting details as they happen. No, there is a bit of something out there. That's surprising. It's a ball valve.
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to explain what is supposed to happen next?
So I've done this before, so I'm pretty sure what I understand to happen is what will happen.
Famous last word.
Because I have plumbed a central heating system in the UK, and I had one of these in the UK, and then this little person in my ear said, "You should sell it, we're not doing another renovation project."
I think you should have listened to him.
So I did listen to him, and I sold it, and then we got here and decided to do another renovation project, and I had to buy another one. It was much more expensive to buy here than in the UK. But I digress. Let's talk about what we're going to do. So, at the moment, all of our 3 circuits are filled with water. I am going to attach this pressure gadget to the in feed The outfield will stay closed, so no water can come out. And what we're going to do with this is it allows you to pump water in, and there is a pressure reading on here. So as soon as we attach this and open this loop to allow water to go in, we should get a reading on here to tell us what the mains pressure was. And then we need to take it up to 6 bar, and then we need to wait half an hour because it might settle a little bit, and then we have to repressurize it. Once we got it at a stable pressure, then we leave it. I would normally leave it overnight. The instructions say that 2 hours is sufficient, so we might leave it 2 hours, or we might go and have a drink, or we might wait till tomorrow.
But that's the plan.
That's the plan, and it should go nice and smoothly. Famous last words.
Stop saying things like that.
So, do you want to do this?
Do I want to do it?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just going to watch you and laugh.
You can be the backseat driver this time. So if we attach that on there.
Happy?
Mostly.
Okay. If you open that...
Let me put this over here so I can see what's going on.
Okay.
And so you lovely people can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, let's see.
Open that loop,
So I'll put the bottom one on.
and then you'll be able to check if it's going to leak on you or not, where you just attached it. Just in case it squirts everywhere.
That's why I've got a handy bucket here.
Yep. Quick, you're going to do it tighter. No, tighter. You haven't got it on right.
Which one is not on right?
That black one.
This one?
Yes.
Something's not right. Looks good.
Okay. So everything's dry.
I think so. But
Okay.
we have zero pressure. Oh no, this is off.
Yeah.
Should we put some water in here?
Yes.
Zero. So we connected it all, opened this, no pressure. So we need to open all of these circuits,
Correct.
is my understanding. I'll start here. Nothing's happening.
You've got a leak.
This is what progress looks like. So we want 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about there. Can you see that? That is 6 bar or some PSI. 100, I think.
This is still leaking.
Okay.
I feel like we want to take this PTFE tape off, just in case that's causing it not to seal as well as it should.
That is almost the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Well, just like these.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay. We can experiment with that, but we'd have to drain the system
again and then
yeah.
repressure test it. But I think we need to do that because we can't have this dripping like this all the time.
That would be bad. Okay.
No, we need to fix this first. This pressure test is useless with that drip. Okay, quick progress update. We've successfully repressurized the whole thing after fixing the leak on the ball valve. The pressure has held at 5 bar for 30 minutes. So there was no kind of stabilizing period or anything like that. So what we're going to do now is leave it overnight, and hopefully the next morning we still see pressure. Because otherwise I really don't know what we're going to do. Do it all again. Probably undo and redo, yeah. So let's pick this up again tomorrow. That's better. Come on in. I've not looked yet, so you get to do the big reveal. Well, there's no water everywhere. That's a good start. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Perfect? Oh,
Have a good feel.
there's no leaks. That's very exciting. That means we have pressurized underfloor heating pipes down, which means we can lay some slabs.
I don't know why you're so excited about that.
It's weeks of work. One thing I do want to note, I'll put some links to the professional way to do this.
You mean not the way that we did it?
The way that we were going to do it until we realised that we couldn't do it that way. And a link to the installation guide, just in case anyone who's found this video is actually looking to do a test of this. We can go and have a read of that as well.
Yeah, I'll stick links to all the other videos and resources that we found that helped us out in the description as well, in case they help you out too. Knowledge is power, as they say. But yes, very exciting that it's all worked. It took a while to get here. In fact, I think we started this whole flooring project like way back last year, sometime in the summer. So we just have one more layer left to go, which is the top slab to cover up all of this pipe and the geogrid. We're going to start that as soon as the rain stops, because I'm going to be mixing outside. It's probably going to take us a while, but we will bring you a video on that as soon as we can. But that's it for this one. We will see you next time. Bye for now. My love.
Oh, bye.